Henry's careless mistake causes priceless vases to shatter, raising tensions. As Stephen's hidden wealth comes into question, will the fallout expose his secrets or reveal Henry's deceit?
Stephen wasn't fazed by the mess of porcelain shards on the floor. Rich people sure are different. You were screaming like it was the end of the world when I stepped on the grass, but now you broke 9 vases. Wait, it's actually 10 vases. But either way, how's me stepping on the grass and you breaking these vases the same thing? Kim glared at Stephen. What are you saying at a time like this? She went over to Zoe and tried to comfort her. Don't worry, maybe these vases are just for decoration. Yeah, you might be right. Why would they display valuable items on the table? They're probably not that expensive, Zoe said with uncertainty in her voice. Stephen bent down and picked up a porcelain shard. I'm not trying to scare you, but based on the quality of these vases, they're worth at least 1 million each. The elderly priest was fond of antiques, so Stephen learned a lot about them. Zoe started panicking. 1 million? There are 10 vases on the floor. So 10 million in total? Even though she and Henry had tens of millions worth of assets, most of them were fixed assets. They only had around 1 million in liquid assets. You don't understand anything. Why are you pretending like you're an expert on antiques? Henry yelled. A group of people rushed over after they heard the commotion. Henry spotted the property manager in the crowd. My friend's here. He won't care about such a minor accident. Henry hurried over to the property manager. I'm sorry to bother you. I accidentally broke something. Please, overlook it. I'll treat you to a drink next time. The property manager frowned when he saw the broken porcelain vases on the floor. Henry, what the hell are you talking about? Are you calling this breaking something? Do you even know what these are? They're priceless antiques. Each vase is worth at least 1 million. All of a sudden, Henry came up with an idea. He pointed at Stephen. This is all your fault. If you hadn't said all that nonsense about some mysterious person buying these villas, I wouldn't have been distracted. Zoe was quick to agree with him. Kim, this is your husband's fault. I must have been out of my mind. Why did I invite you two here? I don't care. You two will be paying the $10 million. Kim looked at Zoe in disbelief. She didn't expect this cousin of hers to shift the blame onto her and Stephen as a last resort. Stephen took out his phone and sent a message to Jack. After pocketing his phone, he took a step forward. They're right. I'm the one who broke these vases. Everyone was stunned by his unexpected confession. Henry and Zoe were so surprised that for a moment, they suspected that they didn't hear him correctly. Kim tugged Stephen's sleeve. Are you crazy? The property manager looked at Kim and Stephen like they were the solution to his predicament. If he couldn't resolve this mess, his position as the property manager would be in jeopardy. Since you've admitted to breaking these vases, then pay up. Otherwise, I'll have to visit the Casady group and ask them for compensation instead. What evidence do you have? They're the ones who broke the vases. This has nothing to do with me or my husband, Kim said. If Helen were to hear about this, she would never name her as the successor of the family. The property manager didn't care about the truth. He would insist that it was Kim and Stephen's fault. If he received compensation from them, this issue would be resolved. Not only that, he might be able to ask Henry for more money. It doesn't matter. Your husband was the one who said he broke them. Stephen had admitted to breaking the 10 vases because he wanted to test the property manager. Besides abusing his position as the property manager to allow outsiders to visit the villas, he also had no conscience. This property manager was threatening them, even though he knew that they weren't at fault. Needless to say, Stephen was disappointed in him. Yes, I'm the one who broke the vases, but it was you who asked me to break them. The property manager didn't expect Stephen to twist his words like that. What? That's nonsense. Do you really think it's nonsense? Don't tell me there's no security cameras in a place like this. Why don't you check the security cameras A1408, B6502, and C9997? Everything will be clear once you watch the footage. Stephen was listing the security camera's serial numbers from the map that Jack had given him. The property manager's eyes widened. Those security cameras were top secret. Who are you? How do you know so much about the villa's layout? Just then, someone burst into the room. All you have to know is that he's someone you can't afford to offend. The property manager couldn't believe his eyes. This man was Kelvin Mills, the CEO of one of the top 5 real estate companies in the country. His company was responsible for the development of the villas, and his net worth was at least $100 billion. Why would someone as prominent as Kelvin come to this city? Kelvin was in a bad mood. He had come to Los Angeles to meet with Steven, but right after he stepped off the plane, he received a call from Jack. Kelvin didn't know Steven's identity, but someone who had the means to purchase all the villas in one day couldn't be ordinary. Moreover, from Jack's respectful tone, Steven most likely had some connections with the Grand Palace Master. Getting on Steven's bad side would spell the end for him and his real estate company. Kelvin strode over to the property manager and kicked his shin. "Hurry up and apologize to Mr. Adams." The property manager had no idea what was going on. Wasn't Steven the worthless son-in-law of the Casady family? Why would an accomplished CEO like Kelvin Mills address Steven as Mr. Adams? Kelvin didn't hesitate to kick the property manager again when he stood there like a deer in headlights. "You fool!" Kelvin hurried over to Steven and lowered his head. "Mr. Adams, I'm very sorry." Kelvin stayed in that position after apologizing because he was afraid that Steven wouldn't forgive him. Henry and Zoe wondered if they were seeing things. A CEO with a net worth of $100 billion was apologizing to the trash son-in-law of the Casady family. Kim glanced at Steven. This was happening again. Just how many things was he hiding from her? Steven smiled. "Since you've personally come to apologize in person, I have nothing to say. What should we do about the broken vases?" "I'll compensate you, of course," Kelvin said with no hesitation. "Then can my wife and I go now?" "Yes, my private helicopter is parked on the lawn. You and your wife may leave at any time." When they got home, Kim grabbed Steven's arm and pulled him into the bedroom. She locked the door and looked him in the eye. "Steven, don't you have something you want to tell me?"
What will Steven say to Kim? Will his hidden truth finally come out?
Hi, I'm Steven.
Want to know my secrets?
Then download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of Secret Succession now.